Fresh Fridays with Zaneta. And today we have a full house. So, last week, we're going to recap. Last week we were talking about the truths and the lies. But after that, before that, we had Enolia with us and Stefania, and we had to do a part two. So here we are with part two with Enolia and Stefania, and we are going to talk about the boundaries that we set ourselves in. So, without further ado, I am going to bring up Enolia. Hello, Enolia. I know it is 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, it is. But I'm here, and I'm fresh, and I'm hopefully gonna have lots of fun tonight. So
we're gonna have lots of fun. We have a full house tonight. And I see that I love the background.
Thank you.
I love it. I love the little blue, you know,
in the lights.
Yes, it's
we just moved,
beautiful.
so we're happy with our new place and everything. So fresh beginnings, new, and just excited to be here.
Awesome. And I am going to bring up Miss Stefania. Welcome, Stefania.
Hello, beautiful ladies.
How are you doing?
Good.
How is Australia? Look, we're in the U.S. Adelia's in Africa, and Stefania is in Australia. So
the power of technology.
Good early morning, Enolia, and good morning on Saturday, Stefania.
Thank you. Good evening to you. I love it. The fact we can just connect like this.
Yes, isn't this wonderful? This is just lovely. This is just wonderful. So we have two in this stage, in the what we call the staging area. We have two guests that would like to come on in and have a conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to moderate. And so I'm going to start it off. So last time we spoke, and we're just going to go right into this conversation. Last time we spoke about fear. The fear that we encounter happens to be what we put the boundaries on ourselves. We have that fear. So when we have those fears, and you said it so wonderfully, Enolia, that first you have to know what fear is. And you have to recognize if, that fear is present, and you have to recognize that it is indeed fear and not just circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I did, recognize on last, broadcast that, wow, I did not realize that was fear. The fear of showing up not in perfection, showing up, I didn't know. But now that I know, I'm all good. And that's when we set ourselves boundaries on ourselves. And you went to Africa just because of a calling.
Mm-hmm. I sure did.
And so that fear was not there. And you went and fulfilled that calling without even knowing anything, have you been to Africa before?
I remember the first time I went to Africa, I was afraid. And I honored that by just saying, okay, if spirit wants me there, I'm supposed to be there. And see, when you're supposed to be someplace when everything falls into place. Everything fell into place. Everything, where I was supposed to be, who I was supposed to be with, meeting people that made me feel comfortable, meeting like-minded people. All of the aspects of why I came fell into place. And it has each and every time that I've done so.
Now, could it be possible that, because I heard Stefania's story on the previous broadcast as well, that she was trying to go somewhere. She was trying to only be in Puerto Rico, I believe, for only 2 weeks, and you wound up staying there longer. So is it a possibility that when things aren't going right the way you want to, that means it's pushing you into an area where you're supposed to be? What do you think, Stefania?
Oh, you're asking me? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, my experience, I'm not sure if Enolia knows this, but yeah, I was supposed to be in Puerto Rico for 2 weeks and I ended up being there 8 months. And then from there, I made the decision to go to Barbados for 3 weeks. I did. And every time I'd make a return ticket, I always made 2 tickets, one way and coming back. And then when I made that decision to go to Barbados for 3 weeks, I ended up staying 3 years. A little bit longer than expected, but it felt right. As Enolia explained, you just know, it's that inner knowing. Everything falls into place. It's like the doors open for you. When things aren't going right, you will know. The doors like shut, close. I don't know, people may turn away. Things are not things that may, people may be saying things that they want to deliver or wish to deliver and it's not happening, or cancellations of something or other. There will be an indication to say you're not supposed to be there. And well, but as far as knowing when it's right, yeah, it just flows. It just feels good, and your energy's flowing. You feel wonderful, definitely. And it's, yeah, you feel like a bird, and not knowing when to. For me, I don't know about you, Enolia, for me, it wasn't important. I didn't have to have guidelines or a definite blueprint to everything I did. It was just a real adventure. And every time something came up, it was just beautiful because it brought me a lesson. And of course, they weren't all beautiful lessons, so to speak. But when I look back now, they are beautiful lessons because they pushed me, they made me grow into the person that I am now. So I'm so grateful for them.
We have a guest here as well, and she and she'll know exactly who I'm talking about because I'm going to bring her up in a few seconds. She went afraid to move from one state to another, bounding back and forth with a business in the state that she was in, and moved to another state because there was a strong calling for her to open another business. And the boundaries that sometimes we put ourselves in causes us to lose that blessing. Now she has 2 locations. She's bounding, and I call her the traveler. So without further ado, and here is Monica. Welcome, Monica. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Hello,
So,
ladies. Good evening and good morning.
Hi.
Good evening to me and good morning to both of them.
Right.
So tell us, what was a fear? I mean, we talk a lot. You and I talk a lot. What was the first a fear, and then that you recognized, and then overcoming that fear and telling the boundaries, you know what? No, I'm going to go and do this.
So the first fear was even initially starting a business in the midst of a pandemic. That was the first fear. And I said, no, we're going to do this because the vision was given to me in such a perfect order. And it was what I had prayed for, show me. If I said I didn't have the knowledge, not the knowledge, but the plan, the strategy. And then for one day to wake up and get a whole download of all the pieces. And then for the people and locations and all those things to show up just so easily. I didn't want to block my own blessing by putting myself in a boundary. So I had to take fear along with me.
Oh.
Yeah. And I chose to do that. And then before I even opened up the doors to the first location, I got a call that there was a space for a second location and that they had heard about what we were trying to do. And did I want to take the opportunity? And again, I was like, how am I going to do that with 2 locations? It's only one of me. And the first one is not even built out the way, like we haven't even opened the doors yet. And so without hesitation, my son said, I'll go and run the second location. So to have others jump on board with your vision and you not even know how you're going to solve these problems. Again, I just had to just trust that this was the plan. And you and I talk a lot. I look for confirmation in everything. And confirmations were just coming like, this is the right move. Okay, this is the person, walk through this door. And I walk by faith anyway. So I just figured if I keep walking, Spirit will keep guiding.
So let's talk about that. Take fear along with you. So let's talk about fear. Is fear a friend?
I actually think that it is.
How? I want to know. I want to know how fear is a friend to you. Because sometimes when we have fear, it causes us to do something. It causes us to either, like Stefania had said, and there's a lot of studies, fear causes us to stand still, the fight, flight, or freeze, but now I'm hearing friend, the other F.
Fear is my friend, right? Fear is my friend.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring up a wonderful friend that, if you hear her story, I know her story. I'm so glad I know. Just the different places that she went also, and the things that she had accomplished as well. I believe that, we're onto something about this fear being your friend, that you have to take it along with you and you have to embrace it and not necessarily take it on as a, like doing it afraid, like what you said, Anolia, you went to Africa, but you went afraid. But you went.
That's
and
right.
that fear, caused you, it's like a fuel kind of. And I'm pretty sure, Stefania, when you were only planning on staying for 2 weeks and wound up longer, there was a bit of fear there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then when you face that fear, then it becomes something else. So I am going to I'm going to bring myself down and then bring up
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys doing? Morning, night, I guess, right?
Yes.
Have you had your breakfast and your coffee?
Still having my tea. I'm still having my tea.
So, Zaneta was making a point. Zaneta, are you there?
Is she there?
Technical problems?
Possibly.
So this program can only set 4 people.
Okay.
So yeah, so you guys have that conversation while I make some more notes here. And so you guys are going to talk about bringing fear along with you. I want to hear those journeys. I want to hear those journeys that you brought fear along with you, because sometimes when we say, well, I'm afraid, you take it afraid, you take that first leap, you take that first plunge, you when you ride a bike, you take it afraid, you do it afraid. When you take that first road, trip in your car, when you pass that test and you get in the car, you're afraid, but you do it anyway. So I want to hear that journey of your your endeavors of taking that fear, turning it into a friend, and then being fierce about it.
Love it.
So I think I want to start because before we can talk about fear, you have to have a definition of what fear is, because fear is different for everyone. Okay. And so for me, when I talk about fear, I talk about the fact that we all exist. If you can imagine an imaginary bubble, we all exist in a bubble. And in that bubble, we have our comfort zone. We have our routines, we have what works for us. And, our egos know exactly how far to go, what's comfortable, what feels good, what might feel out of the bounds. And then we have our heart's desire. And our heart's desire always goes way beyond the comfort zone, way beyond the bubble. All right. And so for me, fear is when my heart desires rules.
Yeah.
And my ego goes, but wait. Okay. And my ego goes, but you have to worry about this and you have to worry about that. And I'm not sure about this. And this is an unknown. So for me, that's defining fear. And when we, in our soul's calling and in our heart's calling, decide that we are going to go above and beyond that comfort zone, yes, we can call it fear, or we can just call it the ego's discomfort. And in that ego's discomfort, it's like, okay, well, all of a sudden, the priority is to trust myself. The priority is not necessarily that I have a task that is fearful in front of me, but the fact that I'm going to embark on something unknown. I'm going to trust myself. And I'm okay with trusting myself. And I'm not going to have every T crossed, I dotted, and the plan in place.
I would
And
love
so,
to that unknown just real quick. I feel like everything in my life has been stepping out into the unknown. And as you would hear preachers talk about it being a walk of faith, I feel like every single thing I've done, I've lived in several different states. And every time I was going on to do something else, it was always just me doing it. It was never, my family never went. I was on my own. And I just was like, okay, God, you have to lead me and guide me and ordain my steps, because I have no idea what I'm doing when I get there. But I just know that the burning inside me is telling me that it's time to go to this place. Just like Abraham, Jeremiah, everybody who went into the different, playgrounds of the Lord, I would always say, like, where he's taking them, they didn't know what they were going to do when they got there. They just knew he said, go and I'll be with you. So that's kind of how I did. Everyone thought I was crazy everywhere I went, clear across from Missouri, a country girl, all the way to Florida, from Florida to Cali to Arizona. There's just all different stories of my life, different seasons. But I feel like the faith, when you said that, Monica, that really hit me, because I feel like I used faith to ignite me fear to ignite me. And because of the fear, I was able to accomplish everything I wanted to do, because I was afraid. I felt the fear coming on me, and I just was like, oh no, we're going to be great. Because I knew that when the fear comes, that it's something that's meant for me,
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I like I said, I walk by faith every day, every single day. And looking back on some of the decisions that I've decided to take fear with me, I don't see a mistake in the journey at all. I actually just see in what I see in having fun. Someone mentioned having fun with the fear and walking by faith. I see all these little pieces coming together in every single step. So it's amazing to see all of this evolve. That's why I'm like, okay, well, this is where you want me to go. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. When I get there, what's next? And okay, which way should I turn? And if it's not an easy yes, someone mentioned that, or it's not a hard no, it's like, okay, we'll just move it, right? We just adjust with it. I've actually got a lot of joy out of moving that way. So I could definitely relate to family and friends looking at you like, you're crazy, or you should have did this and you should have did that. There's so much judgment when you move that way. But and a lot of people there'll be those people that judge you and say, you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you should be making better decisions. But there also be those people that look at you conquering your fear and your goals and be inspired by it. And that's what I love about it. You're taking fear along with you. You're having fun with you. At the same time, you're creating an impact on someone else. Talk about how to tackle the fear. So tackling the fear for me, I wake up every day, every single day, repeating the same, you can do this, and giving myself the same pep talk the minute I wake up and, open my eyes. I don't know about you all, but tackling the fear is almost if not daily, 3 times a day, a constant, you're making the right move. Stop trying to talk yourself out of it, right? Sometimes we could be walking around looking like we're talking to ourselves, but we're really just trying to keep ourselves. We're talking to that fear on the shoulder, right? We're like, look, no, you're not going to cut up today. You're not going to make us turn back. So that's just me. I wake up every day with some type of encouraging myself.
Or something, yeah. I have this shirt line called I Am Enough, and I started it because there would be moments where I'm on all these different journeys, and enemy would just get in my head and just be like, you're not good enough for that. Like, you're not, like, I'm an actress and singer, so it's hard in this industry. And this industry is always up and down, and you always get no, but then you get a one yes that, changes your life. But there would always be moments where I just would hear his voice just saying, you're not enough, you're not enough. And I feel like how I tackle fear was I would listen to that still small voice that would just say, whispering to me that you are enough. And I just would always words of affirmation. And then I started teaching other women about words of affirmation. And then before I knew it, I'm like, oh, I'm already in this journey that I was so terrified over. But because I'm pouring into other people as well as myself, I feel confident going in.
Okay. I might share my little message about how I tackle fear. And I feel that what I have learnt to do, I guess it didn't come very easy, was actually, I wouldn't call fear my friend. Monica, good on you that you can call fear your friend. I would actually, for me, I look at it more as fuel, or like someone it's there, it always pops up. So an acquaintance that occasionally just rears its head through. So for me, how I tackle it, yes, affirmations, but I think what has really helped me is feeling it. And by this, what I mean is really, embracing it and feel the emotion of fear. Because for me, it's only been when I have felt it, and that means whether I've cried, I've yelled, I've expressed it in a way, then that means I've channeled it out. I've released it. Because for me, fear, I feel it in my body particularly, and it's like blocked energy. So releasing it for me, and if I can't do it on my own, I always call for help. So releasing it so I can change my state. So I then say, right, I can change my state. Once you know that you can do it, you give yourself that permission to release it, and then you're free to really do all the things you want to do. So for me, that's how I tackle fear. I acknowledge it, and I won't say I embrace it, but I release it. I work at it and how I can release it through exercise, through meditation, sometimes it has to be something very physical. Yeah, so that's what helps me. That's how I've tackled fear.
Good.
It's interesting how everyone looks at fear so differently. So for me, I wouldn't even say I embrace it. For me, I look at the emotional body, and the emotional body is the one that creates the story,
Mhm.
you know? And really, what is fear but just a story that's been created or projected upon you? And so for me, I move through the story. I look at it, confront it, and I move through the story of it. Because if you really think about what fear is, it's one of our emotional bodies really just upfront basically saying, because I don't know, I'm going to cause you this physical feeling or this emotional feeling. And I always look at validating what I'm feeling. Is it real? Or is it a created story? And 9 times out of 10, it's a created story. Whether someone created it for you, projected it on you, and maybe by mistake you've taken it on as your truth, whether it's your truth or not, or it's because you don't know and you're not aware, and it is an unknown, and there you create a story because there is an unknown, because our mind tends to want to fill in the blanks, of what you don't know,
Yeah.
so that it can feel a little bit more, palatable. But we need to just be able to say, okay, so I don't know, and move past the story of I don't know, and I'm not going to anticipate it. And there's no reason that there's nothing, if my physical being isn't threatened, and there's no cause that I have to feel threatened in any way, then I'm going to move past the story of this, and I'm not going to fill in the blanks, and I'm just going to see what plays out.
How do we think we got to this point, though? Because I feel like at the beginning, when fear started coming on, when I was making big decisions, I would make myself sick and worried, and how's finances going to come and all this stuff. And then how do we finally accept, you know what I mean? Like, how do we get to the point where fear is accepted in our life? Like, we accepted it to just not let it take over us, to just work with it in some sort of way. I'm just curious.
So for me, it's I mean, we're talking life, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that we really do know in our life for sure? Anything. I mean, at this moment, at this time, we're right here, we're right now, we're having a broadcast and we're having a conversation. And our anticipation is that the next morning I'll go do X.
Mm-hmm.
But is there any guarantee that X will take place in our plans? No. This is about our trust in ourselves.
Yeah.
So we all come from various backgrounds, and we have our belief systems, we have the things that we were brought up to understand, to know what makes us feel comfortable, how we address and approach life. Some of it great, some of it not so great.
Mm-hmm.
But every day we pull from our own inner core strength to face the day. And to move past the stories, and to move past the obstacles and the challenges and everything that life has to bring us. And sometimes we do it in ease and grace, and other times not so easy and not so gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
And we always can find cause to worry. That's what the ego does. But the bottom line is that in understanding your own worth and your value, and understanding your connection with spirit, okay, and understanding that I have to trust myself and the decisions that I make, and I have to not be distracted enough so that I can see when a door opens,
Mm-hmm.
and know that I can move through that door, or know that when I'm going through emotional roller coaster, that I'm really just distracting myself from seeing the potentiality of what it is that I want.
That's so good.
That's good.
So in that regard, I subscribe to everyone. When we are at peace and we are calm, then we see the doors open. And when we see the doors open, that's when ease and grace can come in. And no, we're not going to have the answers. We have to trust in spirit, and we have to trust ourselves enough to know that we're on the right path.
I love
And
that.
when we're not, it doesn't align.
Yeah. me write that down. Hold on. Yeah, that's so good. I feel that in my spirit because I feel like I'm not at that place anymore. But at the beginning, I just was like, "What is this? What's going on?" You know. And God was just challenging and testing me. You know. And then when I wasn't trusting, I really wasn't trusting Him 100%. You know. And then I wasn't trusting myself either. So when I finally got shaken up in different circumstances and life experiences to understand how to trust Him and how to trust myself and how to let Him lead, because I like to control everything. It just got so much peaceful and funner and exciting and just journeyed through smoothly. You know, there wasn't so much hiccups. The hiccups would come, but it wouldn't feel like, oh, this is another problem. You know, it would just feel like, okay, let's go through this hump and something's greater at the other side.
That's a really good point of, perspective, even in decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So it's beautiful because each one of us brings so much value to the table, and it's in these discussions that we learn from one another to open our hearts up and to realize that, everything that I ever looked at that I was afraid of, I either learned from somebody else all the way down to, I remember being a teenager and being afraid of the dark, and it was like, well, why am I afraid of the dark? It's because I used to see my sister react to the dark, and she never wanted to be in the dark. So I just learned it from her, right? And I remember my first opportunity to like have my own room, the basement apartment, blah, blah, blah. And it was something about the basement. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. And I remember confronting my own fear by when I would get home, I would be the first one home before my parents got home. And I would just leave the lights out. And as it went from dusk to dark for the evening and nobody was home, I learned how to move through the house in the dark. I learned where I was comfortable in the house, so the front room, the kitchen, where you would probably just hang out, watch TV, blah, blah, blah. I learned how to move through the house in the dark. And my mom would go, why are you walking in the dark? And it's just like, I had to adjust.
Yeah.
I had to adjust.
That's a whole word right there. Like, you had to adjust, but you were seeing it through the dark. Like, oh, man.
Wow.
I'm excited, though, with everything that comes into play with fear. I guess it kind of excites me, too. I said that a few times, so I think maybe it does. That's probably the answer I should say, that I think it drives me, ignites me inside, helps me see really who I am and how much I can take on and how strong I am and how fearless I am.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's just change, really. We're just changing all the time. Situations are changing. So I think too, being present often helps.
Yeah.
As Enolia said, we're attached to the story, and we're great at storytelling, future storytelling, something that's not even happened yet. And of course, we go back to the past to determine our future. So if we can just really remain present, I think that's a really great way as well. It's being very present in the moment, and the future will sort itself out, and the past is gone anyway. So have fun, be very present. Soon sorts fear out.
That's what my mom used to say. She used to say, if you love it, if it's something you want to do, just have fun with it. Because I think I was overwhelmed with a lot of the work I was doing, and it was back to back, and it was fun. It's what I love. But I'm calling mom like, oh, but this is so stressful, and like I have to land here and do this, and then she's like, she just stopped me and helped me realize, is this what you want to do? Do you love it? Like, yes. She's like, then have fun with it.
What is it you do, Amanda? What is it you do?
So I do commercials and I do films and sing Christian music. And then I'm a coming author.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So, and then I have like a nonprofit where I help women overcome their setbacks, find their voice again, and run this fun little clothing line I have, and just try to be an inspiration and all that as well. So got a lot going on.
Beautiful.
So the reason why I chimed in is because when we talk about fear, and when we're talking about embracing it or conquering it, and I love what you said, Anolia, because of somebody else's reaction, you took on their fear, and you had to conquer it on your own terms, and how you would be able to overcome that fear. So and I hear the theme of your spirit, your faith in God, and all of that. And there's a scripture that said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So when we fear, when we fear the Lord more so, then the wisdom comes, because when we don't listen to that nudge, when we don't listen to that still voice that tells us, you need to do this, you need to go there, this is what you need to do, or this is where you need to go, because all of us have a calling.
Yeah.
All of us have this gift that God has given us inside to give. It's not for ourselves, it's for us to give out.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we keep that, God will make sure that you give it. And that is the beginning of where wisdom comes in. The wisdom comes in when you feel that nudge again. You feel that, you like what you said, your heart starts to race. That's when you know that your body is telling you, oh gosh, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna do this, because your body tells you, and it tells you where to go, how to go. It tells you not only what you need to listen to and who not to listen to. Because I like what Enolia, I like what you said, Amanda, and even Stefania, and even Monica, when she said these people, you'll start to hear, what they say. And so let's talk about that, gaining the wisdom off of fear. I'm going to bring back
Wow, gaining the wisdom off of fear. Man, that was a mouthful, as Zaneta just talked about. I mean, I didn't even know that was there. Man, so gaining the wisdom for me off of fear was, first of all, when I'm trying to re-encourage myself and to quiet the noise, right? When fear starts to take over. Yes, I hear a lot of what people have said in the past. And so instead I turn to look back over all the other things that I've already accomplished, right? And then take the learned lessons from that versus what others have to say, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
The learned lessons for me is where the wisdom comes from, right? It's like, what did I learn from this? And it's also a reminder that I can accomplish the next thing, because I was fearful when trying to tackle that particular, thing in life. So it's like, you got through that, right? You've gained so much knowledge, you know how to do it, you know where to turn. Okay, so this is just something else. This is that emotion coming back up again. And that's why I say I choose to bring it along with me, because I never lost it, right? It never went anywhere. So come on, let's come along. But now I have the knowledge and the wisdom to move forward in every single thing that I do. So gaining that knowledge and keeping track of all the lessons learned is what
I agree with the knowledge gain. When you gain the knowledge, to get the wisdom. And I feel like I have done so many things that have made me feel like I was going backwards and setting up and failing and all that. But through every life experience, and no matter what it was, like losing my mom, losing my dad, losing relationships, all these different things that's happened, I feel like they've set me up to be able to help somebody else who's going through that. So it's almost like everything we go through is to help somebody else. And recently my best friend's mom just passed away, so I was able to be by her side and understand what it feels like to lose your parents. So just gaining that wisdom, and it's all fear comes with it, but I feel like the fear, it's almost like the fear stacks up and stacks up. You don't feel it anymore. You get smarter. Like she said, wiser. You get the wisdom because of experiences. And that's what personally for me is, I get wisdom from the experiences that were fearful for me at the time. But now I'm walking in them like they're nothing. I remember the first time I got on a mic, shaking to death, terrified of what I'm going to sing, and they're my own songs. And I'm just like, oh, I can't, and I let the fear take over me. But once I started singing, it all went away. So the next time I was okay, and then a little okay. But then the next time I was okay. But then now it's just, give me a mic. Let's just get this, going, there's no fear. It's just, through the experience, it just made me feel better. I guess that makes sense. And you don't kind of pay attention to the fear anymore. You just let your experiences get stronger and stronger, and you learn from them, and then you become great at those things. So the same with like me saying the experiences I've been through to be able to help other people is, I guess, kind of how I walk my life.
Yeah, I like that. And also protecting your wisdom, because those are the lessons learned. And a lot of times people who are giving you their input haven't been on your journey. They haven't learned the things that we learned along the way. So it's really hard to kind of take on that person's fear once you've learned those lessons.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think it's trusting yourself, going back within self, I think. And when people do have, say their opinion or put fear in, try and inject fear in you, because it's their experience.
Yeah.
And I've learned to say, well, that's their experience, it's not mine. So if you can really differentiate that and really not take that on and embody that, I think you're halfway there. So you can listen, but not make it yours. And then when you can just trust yourself, trust your inner knowing that you are on the right track, then everything is really going to flow for you. And even along the way, there is going to be experiences, whether they're, I won't, we don't say whether they're good or bad, they're just experiences.
Yeah.
They make us feel different emotions. So it's out of those experiences that we can pull out the jewels to then be able to help other people on their journeys as well.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it's been for me. And I've had many times where I'll say, and I won't lie, I've really shaken in my boots. And then when I think back, I think, oh my God, like, can't believe I even thought of that, entertained that thought. And now you just laugh at it. So I guess as you get wiser, as you grow up, I won't say get older, but you're just getting more experienced in life. You tackle situations a lot differently. Like yesterday.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Like you do it over and over and over. It's like something you love, so you don't feel like it's not fun for you. You just keep doing it over and over and over, and it's exciting, and you get better at it, and you know what you're doing.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, like yesterday, I just quickly shared this story. Someone said, oh, how are you going? And I just laughed. I just said, oh, everything's going great. Because, that's, if I say anything else, it's going wonderful. So I just actually laughed through it, which changed my state. So I looked at that situation totally different, not only felt it. And I thought, oh my God, that was so good. Because I really I guess I turned into a little bit of an actress, just played it out, told the story differently. Yeah. So that's That's for me. Enolia, share your story.
I I guess I look at this really differently because for me, it's not about conquering it, it's not about tackling it, it's about redefining it. How do we choose to redefine fear? You know, is it really fear? If you think about it, what do we strive to do our whole lives? We strive to be in balance. You got the polarities, you got the opposites, right? And when we're excited, we're excited. And sometimes when we're low, we're really low. And the bottom line is all we strive, well, I strive to do, I won't generalize. What I strive to do is I strive to come back into balance. Both are necessary, and I don't want one outweighing the other. I want to be right in the center of both of it. There are times I need to have a healthy, outlook that just says, oh, be careful. This is challenging, not so easy, gotta trust myself, and I move forward. And then other times where, wow, everything's great. Everything's falling into place. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so easy. I'm doing it. I got this. I got this. And I'm excited, but it's about the balance. It's about the healthy balance of walking through life. And so, I don't necessarily want to use the term fear when I find my wisdom. Okay, so I was challenged. It was unknown. I didn't know what to do. And because I trusted myself, I was able to move forward and move past this story that I was creating for myself that basically says, I can't do it. I don't know what to do. How can I do this? Blah, 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 blah. I think that words have a vibration, and I don't like the vibration when I use the term fear. I use to always share with my clients and with people that I'm working with, that we hold our light. And in holding our light, darkness is born of the light. Mm-hmm. Darkness is born of the light. So what does that really mean? That means that if I go into a dark cave and I flicker a lighter, I've just changed everything in that cave, right? Because even though it's dark, one flicker of light, one healthy flicker of trust in yourself allows you to emanate light. And that light changes everything. Now, if you could do the opposite and you could go into a cave of light, how do you introduce dark into that cave? Our fears are the only things that do that. So for me, it's finding the balance and redefining what I'm fearful about so that I can move past the story of it. And to me, in doing that, I can look at the wisdom in everything that took place and everything that I have to do to address how to align it for me.
That's right there.
So I actually wrote down this. I was going to come on and I said, redefine the narrative. So I'm so glad you said that, because that's why I changed my platform, because before it was transforming daily lives. And before you can transform, you have to redefine first. Mm-hmm. And when you redefine and you change the narrative, when you take the narrative and you change it and you put a positive to it. I love what you said when you said in darkness, you can take a flicker. It changes the whole atmosphere. It just lights it up. And guess what? It can be seen miles and miles away, because it just changed. It just eradicated darkness. But you cannot do it with light. You cannot do it. You have to actually turn off all of the lights for pure darkness to set in. Mm-hmm. So the change that I had, the epiphany that I had, I was like, I'm trying to transform when they need to change first. The narrative, you have to redefine. You have to, am I really, that bad of a person to go through all of these things? No, because that's it. Change the narrative is, well, I must attract bad people. I must attract all of these things. I must attract all of these tragedies. I must attract. No, if you change that narrative, because if you look at Paul, he said, every time I turn around, evil is right there. Every time I try to do good, bad happens. Every time. So when you change the narrative, when you change it and have it, okay, the reason why this is happening so that my faith muscle can be strengthened. The reason why this is happening is so that I can gain knowledge and wisdom as to what to do, what not to do. When we change those narratives, with the 23 years of marriage, I love what you said, Enolia, you guys had a amicable,
Yes.
and it was wonderful. I mean, it was wonderful to hear. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. So there is a amicable way to separate, to make that separation. Does it hurt? Of course it does. It still does, because it's a separation. Any type of separation means there's tearing, but the tearing also needs to
So
heal.
I would love to just also comment too.
Sure, yes.
That when we come into this world, most of us are like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? Mm-hmm. And I say it to everyone, we have a base purpose. We all have a base purpose. That purpose is to hold your light. That purpose is to, at minimum, hold your light. Hold your light through the tumultuousness of life. Hold your light through the storming of life. Hold your life through the bliss of life. Hold your light. And all of the other gifts that you possess complement that light. But at a minimum, we hold our light. And if you can hold your light, and that is the foundation of the peace within yourself, the trust within yourself, the worthiness within yourself, the love within yourself, to emanate, to be like a beacon, minimally, no matter what's going on.
I love that.
Then we're doing our purpose. We have our foundational purpose here, walking this earth, so that others can turn around and find that light and be charged from it.
I love that. I love that.
Everything else we do is a byproduct. So the fact that I'm, like I speak, I'm an orator, I speak. So that's the extra gift, but the bottom line is that as I stand firm in my own authenticity, I should be a beacon of light, inspiring others. And I say that to all of us.
That light you're talking about when we are first, brought to the earth, and that's the light that, that's the spark. That's the spark that ignites everything. It's that that flint, that hard flint that if the singing hits it, it sparks the singing, and the melodious, it just comes out. And I'm going to say this, and I know I might get, some of the singers are really good singers. They're very talented, but the ones that really hit, through the core, through the spirit, are the ones that have that spark, that have that light, that have that, they're gifted singers, but are they able to penetrate, that, you ever heard a song that really moved you? It moved you, and you don't even know the singer. Their names are not blasted on neon lights. They are not making millions of dollars. but yet that singer, that's my coworker.
Gorgeous.
So, you know, and I love that. I hate that we are nearing our time. Can you believe that it's 5 minutes? We have 4 minutes actually left. And I am enjoying this. We need to. I really need to talk to Be Live and to add. They can't limit it to 4. They just can't. Because then that's where the other competitors wind up getting, the platform.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring Monica back in, and please, give us 30 seconds. Just give me 30 seconds of a takeaway that you can give, that gift, that light that Enolia was talking about to the listeners. Give a 30-second gift to those that are listening. And that's to all of you, by the way.
Okay. Hi, welcome back. Oh, you're muted.
Oh,
There you go.
so who's going first?
You.
um, oh my gosh, that was such a great. I was over here just notating, especially about the light.
Yeah, me too.
The song that came to mind is "This Little Light of Mine." Right, continuing to carry the light. So I would just say, like, your light shines so bright that you bring someone else out of their own darkness. Continue to impact with your gifts.
Beautiful.
Who's next? Amanda, you're next.
Okay. I would probably say always inspire, even though others try to dim your light. Let your light be known. And when you walk in a room, walk in confidence, knowing that your light is needed in that room. You never know what people are going through, and you never know who in that room was sent by the Lord for you to help. So just continue to let your light shine in every area of your life. At work, walking down the street, just be an inspiration for others, and try to just wave at somebody. I always tell people, just smile at someone. You just never know what they're going through. So your light radiance off of you, like you are radiant light and you don't even know it sometimes when you're walking in a room and people are inspired by you, and they call it intimidation, but it's really not. It's you. It's the light that you carry. So keep going, girl or boy.
That is awesome.
I would like to add to those that there's wonderful points there. I would say love your light. Okay, because it's all very well to say, step in your light, be that light and walk in the light. But I think for me, it was really important to love my light. And my journey was to really learn to do that. And then I was able to actually step out into my light and shine that light even brighter. Because when you can actually love it and embrace it and just embody it, I think that's then going to emanate even stronger. It just feels amazing. So that's my message.
So I'm sitting here listening to everyone, which are beautiful, beautiful points. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what can I contribute to this? So I'm going to just go right back to this, which is that I feel like I'm akin to a lighthouse. And the bottom line is that I can be somebody's mother, auntie, sister, daughter, all of those things, but when you shed all of those things, who are you really? You are a light. You are a gift here on this earth, a being of light. It is more important now to shine as bright as you can in the midst of the storm. Be your authentic self and shine brightly. Don't let outward forces make you forget what being love and being light is. Being love, because our family unit is our strongest unit, and we're letting outside forces come between our families and our family units.
Mhm.
We need to be that light. We need to rise to that occasion. We need to shine so brightly that the love engulfs and still hugs that brother or that sister or that loved one, no matter what thought process is taking place. Be the authenticity, the light, the love, in this multiverse, because it's not just about the 3D. You have to love people beyond what they can comprehend sometimes.
Yeah. Wow.
And I would say that that is the most important thing, no matter what's taking place around us.
Hey, Bagheera. Um, so thank you, ladies. I really enjoyed this. This is what I'm going to uh, contribute to all the lights that is on the stage and in the staging area with Monica Reed. Um, this is my contribution to each and every one of you and to those that are listening. Look up. Look up when it's dark and you see all those twinkling lights, those stars above there. They are millions and millions and millions of miles away, but yet put together, letting those lights shine together, not outshining anyone, but letting your own light shine, loving your light, embracing your light, being, loving um, yourself and that light. It just makes a better world.
Yeah.
It just, even with our family, sometimes the light is a little bit dim, but let your light shine a little bit brighter for them. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed this. Um, for those that are watching, thank you so much. And for those that are going to watch on the replay, do know that we do come back every Friday, Fun Fresh Friday. We will tackle certain topics that sometimes nobody likes to talk about. And we will also be talking about some fun topics as well. That's why it's called Fun Fresh Fridays. And as you can see, it's fresh because we had two um, guests that popped in that Enolia and Stefania was not aware of. But it was great. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I am going to sign off. I'm going to say thank you so much, but I'm going to allow each and every one of you to say your goodbyes. Okay, until next time, peace and love.
Please.
Take care. It was enjoyable.
Yes.
Oh, I
Thank
want to
you.
keep healthy with us. Hold on. Yay. It was nice to meet everyone. And
You
thank
too.
you for
Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so,
inspired
so much.
on my niece's paper, coloring paper. I'm like, what can I grab? Yes, I got notes and I'm real inspired. So thank you, ladies, for sharing.
Thank you. Monica, you're muted.
Oh, thank you, Zaneta, and to you both for having me. And this was an amazing. We have to do it again.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, Zaneta.
Bye.
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 Thank